Okay, this is Module 2 Fractions. I'm David Dipple from the Art Institute in Houston. It's going to be a quick review of the material that's covered in Module 2. I strongly suggest you take notes on this from the printouts, handouts on my webpage, and then use that as you're working through the skills check. Okay, number 1, lowest terms, 20 over 36. If you'll factor both of those, 20 is 9 times 4, or it's going to be 5 times 4. And 36 is 9 times 4, and you can cancel the 4's, and you're left with 5 9s. 23 cars are on the road, 12 are red. Okay, it wants to know not red. Well, we got to subtract. 23 minus 12 makes 11. So I'm going to take my fraction of not red, which is 11, to my total 23. So it's 11 out of 23 are not red. Divide. You take the second fraction, which is 6 over 7, and you flip it over. So it's 5 over 9 times, when you flip it, you multiply 7 over 6. Okay, we can factor these. 49 can be factored. Times 7 times 7 times 6. And your 7s, one of them will cancel. Probably the first one. So you have 5 left on the top, and 6 times 7, which is 42 on the bottom. Okay, number 4, division. You take the second fraction, as we had before, flip it over. So you have 5 over 6 times 12 over 5. In this case, we can just cancel these 5's. And you have 12 over 6. Type that in your calculator and get 2. Square root of 36 is just 6. The square root of 49 is just 7. You do them separately. Number 6, we want a piece of string that's 16 1/4 inches long. I would change that to a decimal. 28 1/8. Change that to a decimal. So you take your 1/8. 1 divided by 8 on your calculator is 0.125. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. So we take our two numbers now, 28 1/8, which is 28.125. I'm going to subtract what I need, 16.25. When you do that, you get 11.875. That's how much you need to cut off. Well, we need that back into a fraction, so you take your 875. Multiply by 8, which is your common denominator, and that gives you 7 out of 8. Okay, number 7, we're adding these up. They all have the same denominator. 17 plus 5 plus 4 is 26. Okay, these are both even numbers. 2 times 13 is 26. 2 times 17 is 34. You can cancel the 2's, get 13 17ths. Simplify. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. We need to combine these middle two in parentheses. We need to multiply this 3 by 2 to make a common denominator of 6. So 2 times 3 makes 6. 2 times 1 makes 2. Then I can combine these. 2 minus 1. So my 16/25 stays. 2 minus 1 is 1/6. Now division, I flip this over. 6 over 5. Then I can cancel these 6's. So I have 16/25 minus, I cancel the 6's, 1/5. Now I can't subtract them unless I have a common denominator. So this has to be 25 on both of them. So I multiply by 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 5 is 5. So we have 16 minus 5, which is 11/25. Okay, number 9, convert 3 and 5/6 to an improper fraction. You take the front times the bottom plus the top. 3 times 6 plus 5, which is 23 over 6. Okay, when you're comparing two fractions, if you will cross multiply 5 times 32, 8 times 20, 5 and 32, multiply those. 8 times 20, multiply those. If you'll cross multiply, it'll tell you what's going on. 5 times 32 is 160. 8 times 20 is also 160. Those are equal to each other. If they weren't, you'd have a less than or a greater than in there. Okay, number 11. 4 squared, 7 squared. Okay, you write those 2 times. So I have 2 4's, 2 7's. 1 to the third, 4 to the third. That means 3 1's and 3 4's. Now I'm going to simplify by canceling, so I can cancel 2 of the 4's on top, 2 of the 4's on the bottom, so I have 1 left on top And 7 times 7 times 4, which is 196 on the bottom. Okay, estimating. So 23 and 5/9 turns into 24. 8 and 11/16 turns into 9. 24 minus 9 is 15. Okay, exact. Take this and turn it into a decimal. 5 divided by 9 is 0.555. I did 4 decimals. 11 divided by 16 is 0.6875. If you will subtract those, you will get 14.868. And then the common denominator is my 16 and my 9. 9 times 16 is 144. So I take my decimal, 868 times 144, and that gives me the top of my fraction, 125. The bottom of my fraction is 16 and 9, which is 144. 13. Are these equal? Well, we do our cross multiply again. 6 times 20, 15 times 9. Well, 6 times 20 is 120. 15 times 9 is 135. No, they're not equal. Okay, if it said, what are they? Well, 120 is less than. So 6/15 would be less than. Simplify. We take our 210 and divide by 2. I'm just going to work with the top, and then I'll go back and walk through the bottom. 2 times 105. 105 I can divide by 5. Do that on your calculator. So 2 stays. Divided by 5 gives you 21. And then 21 you can chop up into 7 times 3. 1485 ends in a 5, so I can divide by 5 on the calculator. It gives you 297. I can divide that by 3 in the calculator. It gives me 99. And from here I can just go and break these up. So I have a 2, a 5. 21 is 3 times 7. 99 is 9 times 11, or 11 times 3 times 3. Then I have my 5, 3. Okay, there's no 2's on the bottom, so that can't cancel. 5 cancels, 3 cancels, and I believe that's it. So we have 2 times 7 on top, and 11 times 3 times 3 on the bottom, which makes 14 over 99. I earned $42,000. I spent something on rent, something on food. How much did I spend on food? Well, food is $42,000 times 4/7. So just multiply 42,000 times 4 divided by 7. Type that in your calculator. I believe it's 24,000. Okay, a tire rotates 12 2/3 times, and it goes 228 times. So I'm going to divide those numbers. 228 divided by, I need to turn this into a fraction. 12 times 3 plus 2, like we did before. Okay, that's 38 over 3. 12 times 3 is 36, plus 2 is 38 over 3. Now we turn this fraction over, because division, you flip over and multiply. So it's 228 times 3 over 38. Type that in your calculator. Should be 18. Okay, 17. Glass weighs 32.5. Make that into a decimal. 32.5. 21 and 5/6. Type that in your calculator. 5 divided by 6 is 0.8333. Just carry that many decimals, 4 decimals. Type in your calculator. 32.5 times 21.833 should be 709.85822. Okay, our common denominator, 6 times 2 is 12, so we have 709. We take our 5822 times 12, and that makes 7/12. We're going to find the estimation. Well, 5 2/3 is close to 6. Divided by 3 5/8 rounds up to 4. Type in your calculator. 6 divided by 4 is 1.5. That's 1.5. Exact. We need to turn this into an exact fraction. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2. And 3 times 8 plus 5. Okay, I have 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2 is 17 over 3. Divided by 8 times 3 is 24 plus 5 is 29 over 8. I'm going to flip this over and multiply. So I have 17 divided by 3 times 8 divided by 29. I flip this one over. Just type that in your calculator. 17 divided by 3 times 8 divided by 29. You should get 1.5632. You take this 0.5632 times this denominator, 3 times 29 is, I believe, 87. And 5632 times 87 is your 49. All right, 19, we need to combine these. Inside the parentheses, the common denominator is 16. This needs to be multiplied by 2. So I have my 3/8 times 3/16 plus 8 times 2 is 16. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 plus 2, you combine those, gives you 5/16. 32 over 5. Okay, your 5s will cancel. 32 and 16 cancel. And there's a 2 left up here because 16 goes into 32 twice. So I have 3 times 2, and then I have an 8 left on the bottom. 2 goes into 8 4 times, and so you have 3/4. Okay, suppose you want to graph 5/3. Well, I draw a graph, 0, 1, 2. Chop each of those into 3 pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3 pieces between 0 and 1. 1, 2, 3 pieces between 0 and 2. I don't put 3 lines, I put 3 spaces. 2 lines, 3 spaces. Then I just count to 5. Count the little lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's 5 out of 3. Okay, 21. Make a lowest common denominator. I break down the 8 and the 10. So I have 2 times 2 times 2. And 10 is 2 times 5. The least common denominator, you take the most of each. The most 2's is 3 of them. The most 5's is 1 of them. You take the most of each. Not all of them, just whatever happens the most times. Which makes 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 5 is 40. Now, to convert 8 into 40, I have to multiply by 5. So 3 times 5 is 15, 8 times 5 is 40. Now I need to convert 7/10. 10 times 4 makes 40. So 7 times 4 is 28, and 10 times 4 is 40. So now I have this fraction, 15/40 and 28/40 with the common denominator. Okay, 22, we're going to multiply these. It's easier if you'll factor them first. You can just type this in a calculator, it will work. You could just type 21 divided by 20 times 10 divided by 33 times 11 divided by 14. You could type that in. I'm going to reduce them. 21 is 7 times 3. 10 is 2 times 5, 11. And then 20 is 2 times 2 is 4 times 5. 33 is 3 times 11. 14 is 2 times 7. Then I'm going to cancel things. A 2, a 5, 11. A lot of this cancels on top. 1's left over, and 2 2's is all that's left. 7 cancels, 3 cancels, 2 cancels, 5 and 11 cancel. So you have 1/4. Okay, I'm going to have to drive 7/12 of a mile, and I've already gone 3/12, so I just subtract them. 7/12 minus 3/12 is 4/12. 4 is 4 times 1. 12 is 4 times 3. We can cancel the 4's. And that gives you 1/3 miles left to go. Convert to a mixed fraction. Just type these in your calculator. 179 divided by 3 gives you 59.6666. Then take this decimal, 0.666, multiply by the denominator, which is 3, and you get the number 2. And that's going to be the top of your fraction. So it's 59. When we multiplied this, decimal times the bottom, we got 2. So it's 2 out of 3. Okay, make these equal. Well, I noticed to get from 12 to 24, I have to multiply by 2. So 7 times 2 and 12 times 2 makes 14 out of 24. So the missing number is 14. All right, number 26. I buy 5 3/8 feet and 4 5/8 feet and 3. So I'm just going to add those together. Okay, if you want to convert to decimals, that's probably the quickest way. Take 3 divided by 8 on your calculator, gives you 375. Take 5 divided by 8, gives you 625. Then just type in your calculator, 5.375 plus 4.625 plus 3 gives you 13. Okay, that gets you through the Module 2 fractions. So make sure you've taken good notes and then work on the skills check. And good luck.